What's up, my fellow actors? Kurt Yu here from actingcareercenter.com. Today, we're going to be talking about how I tape my auditions in a hotel room because we're in a hotel room right now and I just taped a couple auditions. So I just want to show you my process of how I did it. Now, before we get started, if you are brand new to this channel, first of all, welcome. Thanks for watching. And second of all, if you haven't downloaded my free 10-step audition preparation guide yet, you can get it by going to that link right up there. I call it my audition cheat sheet. It's my own 10-step audition preparation process that I have personally used to help me book over 50 movies and television shows. So if you want to up your game in your auditions, then you can download that free guide by going to that link right up there. All right, let's talk about taping auditions in a hotel. Now, you've heard me say in previous videos that there's no one right way to do almost anything in this industry, and taping auditions in a hotel is the same thing. I'm showing you this not to say it's the right way to do it or it's the only way to do it. It's just my way of doing it and it works for me. So hopefully by watching this, you'll pick up on a few maybe tips and tricks that may work for you. But there are definitely plenty of different ways that other people use to tape their auditions in hotels. Some might be just as good or better than how I do it. So you just do what works for you, what makes you most comfortable. And if it still creates a good product in the end, then that's great. Okay, all that matters is how that final end product looks, right? So when it comes to traveling and taping auditions in a hotel, the biggest question that a lot of people have is like, what do you bring with you? What equipment do you bring with you? Your cameras, your lights, your tripods, and all that type of stuff. Funny thing is, I was actually just having a conversation on set yesterday with another actor, and we were just trading stories of how we tape our auditions in our hotels. And again, it's what works for you. So let me tell you how I make my decision, and it depends on a couple factors. One, it depends on if I'm driving or if I'm flying, because if I'm flying, then it matters how much I can pack into my bags that I pack, right? But if I'm driving, then I can just throw things into the car. And then the other thing that it depends on is whether I'm just gone for a couple days or if I'm going to be gone for a week or longer. If I'm just gonna be here for a couple of days, then I don't need to bring a ton of stuff. I have a couple auditions and I just make do with what I have. But if I'm gonna be gone for an extended period of time and I may have to tape quite a number of auditions while I'm at my hotel, then I may want to pack some more things and set up almost a temporary audition setup because I'm gonna need it more than just once or twice, right? So let me show you what I brought today, and I drove to this location. So I did bring my full-size tripod, and this makes it easy because I could just throw it in the car. Like I said earlier, I just put this in the trunk of my car, and if I needed it, which I happened to need it when I got here, I just ran out to my car and then grabbed it from the trunk and I set it up in this room, and it makes it super easy. Now, if I am flying, then I don't like to pack this because personally, I like to pack pretty light when I travel. So if I'm flying, I like to just have a backpack and my roller suitcase, and that's it. And if I try to bring this will fit in my roller suitcase, but it takes up so much room, and it's like a third of the room in my bag is taken up by the tripod. So I don't really like to bring that with me. So if I'm flying somewhere, I just bring my little mini tripod, and this works great. And I just throw my phone on here. And this is a good time to mention that I don't bring my camera. I just bring my phone. You can see on my full-size tripod as well, that's just a little phone adapter that holds my phone at the top of that tripod. Because I don't like to, like I said, I don't want to bring all of my camera gear. If you've seen some of my previous self-tape videos, you know that I shoot with my DSLR Canon 80D at home as my full-time self-tape camera. However, if I'm traveling, I just use my phone. You guys know that, cell phones have great cameras these days. A lot of times they're just as good as a professional camera that you can get that's a professional like video camera. So I tape all of my travel self-tapes with my phone. I don't bring any extra camera equipment. I don't even bring any extra microphones. I just use the camera and the microphone that's built into my phone, and that's it. Now, one thing you might be wondering is if I only bring this, let's say I'm flying and I only bring this little guy, which both of these things you can just search on Amazon, phone tripod or mini tripod. You can find these, there's tons of them, right? But if I only bring this, what if I have an audition where I'm standing? Like, what do I do with something like this? And look, every single actor that's ever taped an audition while traveling before, they've made it work by stacking furniture. I've definitely stacked furniture on top of, like, I'll put that little table on top of this couch and then put this on top of the table, and now I have this at roughly eye level, and I can do that. And like I said, If I'm just going to be here a couple days, I'll do that a couple times for an audition. But if I'm traveling for an extended period of time, then, and let's say I'm flying, then it may be a good idea for me to check a bag and have a bag that's just my self-tape equipment. Maybe I'll bring a full-size tripod, maybe I'll bring some lighting and all of that stuff, because I'm going to need it more than once or twice, right? All right, now let's talk about lighting. I didn't bring any lights with me, and hotel rooms are kind of notorious for having bad lighting. You only have a few lamps here and there, right? So what do I do for lighting? And as you can see, I'm lit very well right now, and that's because I'm facing the big window that's in the hotel. And generally, if I can get natural light, then I will absolutely use it. And so I would like to use this natural light, but the problem is I don't have a blank background to use. Everybody knows that, time you get a self-tape audition, the instructions almost always say, and even if they don't say it, it's recommended that you have a blank background that's non-distracting, right? Just a flat color wall would be perfect. And that's what I use at home. I have a gray wall for all of my self-tapes. It looks beautiful, and there's no distractions in the background. Ideally, that's what you want. But again, when you're in a hotel, we're not in the ideal situation. If I haven't brought light, then I'm relying on the natural light that I get from the window. And because of that, how am I going to finagle this and still get kind of a non-distracting background? Well, I don't worry about my background being perfect, especially when I'm on the road. Because if I try to find like a blank wall, there is like kind of a blank wall over here on this side, but it's so far away from the window that it's not bright enough. Here, I did try to take this painting off the wall. I couldn't remove it. I do kind of have a blank wall right here that I can use. However, I'm faced this way, right? And the lighting's coming from my side, and half my face is in shadow. I'd rather face this way and have the lighting come this way. So if I were to tape like this, you could see this whole, the kitchen behind me and all of that, and it is a bit too distracting. So what I'll do, and I'm gonna stand up here and I'll try to talk a little bit louder, hopefully you can still hear me as I walk over to the door. But what I did with this last audition that I taped is I just stood right here in front of the door, and let me grab the tripod and my phone to show you. I came right here, I set up my tripod right in front of me, put the phone in the tripod, and boom, and I just taped it like this. And as you can see, I'm gonna show you a quick clip right now of how this looked. Behind me, you could see the door in the frame, but it's not super distracting. It is a little bit, you could see obviously that there's a door there. It's not a completely blank background like I would have when I'm taping at home. That's just a flat gray. However, it's non-distracting enough, in my opinion. You're not gonna get a perfect setup when you're taping, when you're traveling, unless you bring all of your equipment. So you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons, right? What are you willing to bring and inconvenience yourself by bringing all that extra stuff? And then, or like, what are you willing to sacrifice, but still turn in a pretty decent self-taped audition? And I decide to, all right, I'm gonna first worry about where I'm getting the best lighting. And if it's coming from here, then where can I get the least distracting of this area? And to me, it's the door. When someone looks at an audition, they look behind you and they see a door. It's not like they're not going to be super interested in the door. They see it once and then they forget about it because there's nothing else to look at because it's just a door. And for me, that's fine. And I've booked auditions where I've taped with stuff like that, a closet door or a front door or something like that in the background. It looks perfectly fine. After they see it once, then they're paying attention to you and they're watching your audition, right? Here's the other thing that I think psychologically even works in your favor. I found myself recently actually trying to make it obvious that I'm taping in a hotel room, such as the hotel door. Hotel doors are pretty obvious when you see it, right? It's got the little placard on the door, and the door handle is the key lock switch, right? So if I tape in front of a hotel door and the casting director or whoever is watching it and sees it, immediately they think that, oh, okay, so he's taping in a hotel. I'm going to give him a little bit of a break that it's not of super high quality, right? Because he's doing his best. And other than the fact that it's in front of a door, the lighting is good, the audio is good, the video is good, and all of that stuff is great. So because of that, I almost feel like it's like a psychological thing. They see that you're in a hotel, they give you kind of a pass on the quality of it, rather than if I tried to find a perfectly blank wall, but then the lighting is kind of off because I'm side lit, it's probably worse than standing in front of a door. That's my opinion. Again, this is just how I decide to do it. All right, so when I was recording this video, I totally forgot to talk about how I use a reader for my auditions in a hotel room. And personally, I like to use virtual readers. Even when I'm taping at home, I use a virtual reader all the time, meaning I just call someone up on Zoom or FaceTime, and then they read for me virtually. Here's a clip from a previous video where I show myself using a virtual reader. This is my friend Charity reading for me via FaceTime. And this is how I do it in a hotel room as well. It makes it super easy. I just call one of my friends up via Zoom or via FaceTime, and I email them the audition sides, and they read for me virtually, and it makes it super easy. So remember, the most important thing when self-taping auditions is that they can see you clearly and hear you clearly. Beyond that, as far as eliminating distractions in the background, yes, that's important, but don't pull your hair out to make sure you get everything out of the background. For your general self-tapes that you do 99% of the time at home, yes, try to have a situation where you have a blank background. But when you're traveling, you're not in an ideal situation. So do the best that you can and worry about the lighting and the audio first. And then if you have a little bit of distraction in the background, that's not going to be the end of the world. They'll give you a pass. They understand that actors sometimes are traveling, they're on the road and things like that. For instance, when I'm traveling and I'm at my parents' house, I don't have a separate room for self-taping at my parents' house. So I'll just go into a room and I'll show you an example right now that recently booked me a role. I shot with the closet door behind me, and it's non-distracting enough. So don't worry about making your self-tapes absolutely perfect when you're on the road. Just do the best with what you got, and usually that's going to be just fine if it's just going to be a couple times while you're in a hotel. All right, hopefully that helped you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel, and until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and I hope to see you on set one day.